Hello and welcome back to Fundamental STEM. My name is Jer, and in the last two videos I showed you how to get access to the Scratch 3.0 software. I also showed you the basic layout of the platform. But in today's video we're going to start coding. So without any further ado, let's get into this computer and get started.
Okay guys, before we get into this code, I just want to quickly show you where I get my code from. I'm using Ready Steady Code. I'll put a link in the descriptions for you, but the Ready Steady Code website has a whole host of really helpful resources there. They have free resources and the stuff about the author, Seamus O'Neill, the guy who makes all this software. And he links all of this programming to educational stuff. So there's an awful lot of it. It's linked directly into the maths curriculum in school. The book that we're using though is purely put together for fun. It's just a bit of a fun code book. I use it at Coder Dungeon and deemed good enough to use for Fundamental STEM as well. You can buy a copy of it here if you want. No affiliation to me whatsoever. I'm not trying to sell this, but I do give it a thumbs up. I think it's a fantastic piece of code. Seamus is a great guy and I really would love to see this company doing really well. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to coding. So I'm going to open up Scratch 3.0 and show you the first of the programs in here, just turning a ladybug into a spider. And if you wanted to play a trick on mom or dad, or show them your first piece of coding and give them a bit of a scare, this is a perfect piece of coding to do that for. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of the cat, because we don't need the cat in this one. The sprite we do need, if we click on our sprite library here, is going to be the Ladybug. So I'll scroll down here and real quickly and we'll go to Ladybug 2. There's Ladybug 2. The first thing we're going to do to Ladybug 2 is not coder. We're going to change a costume, because Ladybug 2 has two costumes. Okay, and the only real difference between the two of them is the mouth changes. Now in the second costume we're going to make a few alterations. First thing we want to do is click on this fill bucket and we're going to change the color of the ladybug. Now we're going to do that by picking the color up here. So I'm going to have to scroll this down and even this down, and we're going to get to a nice black. Okay, so the ladybug is going to be filled in black. Now when you hover your arrow over the over the ladybug's leg, you're going to see the color change. Left click and it'll stay there permanently. So we're filling in the color. Now do the purple part, not the yellow spots, the purple part, and click, and then across to the other purple part, click, and then across to the legs. Here we go, clicking. Now the next part we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the antenna. Now before we have to do that, we need to click here on this select arrow. Okay, we need to select them, and then on your keyboard you'll see a button with delete written on it. You can press that there and select the other one and click delete on your keyboard. And then one last piece of filling to do. Okay, so you click on that bucket there, and then we need to change the color to a kind of a grey color. So we're going to pull that saturation down, and there's a nice grey, that'll do. And we're going to put a grey color on the face here, and we've turned the ladybug into a spider. Okay, so the next part, get into some coding. We're going to start this coding off as we always do with a when the green flag clicked. I'm going to make that block a bit bigger so you guys can see it a bit more clearly. Then we're going to set the Y value. So we're going to have our go to a particular height. Okay, so say down here I want the ladybug to go to the top up here somewhere. Alright, so that's going to be in set. So I have to pull this down because that's down a little bit further here. We have set Y here, and I'm going to put in a number of 120, 120. Then we're going to go into the looks palette and we're going to hide the sprite. Okay, and hide the sprite. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a weight block, which is in our controls, and we're going to pull out a weight block, stick that on there. Now 0.5 of a second, or 0.5 that should do. I should have put 0.5, but it doesn't really make much difference, but let's just leave it at 0.5 seconds. Okay, so the next thing, we go back to our looks palette and we need to go show. So we pull that down a little bit and there's show. Okay, then we need to make sure that we're on the right costume. So you should start with costume A. So here's costume A, and that's the ladybug costume. Okay, and the B was going to be the spider costume. The next thing we want to do is we want to set the size. Okay, so not 100% because that's the full size of the sprite. We only want it to be 75%. So that's a little bit smaller. Then we want to say something. So that's again in looks. So at the top here you'll see say hello for 2 seconds. Stick that onto the bottom, and then I'm just gonna pull this up a little bit higher. And we're gonna change what's written in here. And we're gonna say hi there. H-I-T-H-E-R-E. Hi there. And we'll stick on an exclamation mark at the end. And throw a couple of spaces at the end so that the speech bubble doesn't squash your text. You know, you want to have larger speech bubbles. We're going to also change that 2 seconds to 3 seconds, just so the Ladybug says it for a little bit longer. The next thing we need is a repeat, and that's in our events. Sorry, my mistake, it's actually in our controls. So the repeat is up here, and we're going to stick that underneath there, and we're going to repeat an event, or rather a motion, right? So we're going to click on motions, and we're going to change our Y by a certain value. I'll put that in now in a second. So we're going to change Y. Okay, so we've told at the very beginning we've set Y to 120, and basically what we're doing is we're telling the Ladybug to come down. Okay, so we're going to be changing Y by -10. So a negative value of 10 is going to bring that Ladybug down. We're not going to do it just 10 times, we're going to repeat it 20 times. So if you repeat 20 times -10, then it's -200, yeah, say. So that's basically the Ladybug's going to move down that many times. The next thing we're going to add in is also a new thing. It's in the events that you guys wouldn't have seen. It's going to be a broadcast. Now this is how you can link 2 pieces of code together. So if you broadcast a message and then you use this when I receive a message on another piece of code, you can link 2 pieces of code together to an event. When something happens in one code, it activates another. But I'm going to change the message in here. So it's not going to say message 1. If I click down here, I can type in a new message. And in there I'm going to type play sound. Play sound, and click OK. Okay, so it's going to play sound. I'll come back to that in a minute because I'm going to continue with this block of code. The next thing we need to do is we need to switch the costume to costume B. Okay, costume B, Ladybug B. Right, so that's going to be the spider. Okay, so we're now changing to the spider. This is where things get scary for your mom and dad when you show them this, because they get the fright of their life when they see this. Okay, so to set the size, we need to pull that out there, and we need to stick in 300. So we're going to make the sprite really big. Okay, so at this point it's going to go to this big scary spider, and it's going to get really large. Okay, next thing we want to have is say something. So we're going to pull out the say block again. Okay, say block again, and in this one I'm going to type in boo. Yeah, B-O-O. I'm going to throw an exclamation on the end there and say I'm a spider, S-P-I-D-E-R, spider. Okay, throw a couple of dots, throw a couple of spaces, just to make it look a bit bigger. This, as I said, the speech bubble doesn't squash up your text. And then make that 3 seconds as well. The last thing then is a hide block at the very end, a hide block. So let's pull out a hide block and attach that onto the end. Okay, now that's that whole main one done, but remember the broadcast, we have one more thing to add into the broadcast, and I'm going to put that up here. So let's go back to our events, and we have when I receive message 1. Right, I'm going to stick that here, but it's not message 1 I want. It's going to be when I receive play sound. Okay, well, what do I want to do when I play sound? I want to play a sound, so we click onto the sound bar, and it's like the first option there is play sound pop until done. I'll be using that, but I won't be playing that actual sound. What I will be doing is giving you a new sound in here. So how do we get new sounds? Well, we've done code, we've done costume, and now we need to do something in sound. So if you click on the sound tab, you'll see there is the pop sound. We're not using that, so we can get rid of that sound. Now we need a sound, so let's go into our choose a sound from the library. Alright, so the sound we're looking for is screech. So these are all alphabetical, so we should be able to pull down to the S's, G, L, M, N, P. Okay, so we're around screech. One more run, there's screech over here. So we click on screech, there's the screech sound. let's get back to our code, and we need to change this from pop. We click on that little arrow there and we can select screech. Okay, one last thing, you'll notice that the stage is very bare looking, so we need to put a backdrop in here. So let's click on our backdrop library, and I want the tree. There's one with a tree. There we are here. So we'll click on the tree. Right? Now, moment of truth. Let's make it large screen and see, are we working? So if I click on the green flag, there's our ladybug. Hi there. Boo! I'm a spider.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please remember to click subscribe. We really need your support. Like and comment. I'd love to have a bit of interaction down in the comment section. And we'll see you in the next video.